Hey everyone, as you already know, death is a phenomenon where tissues and cells lose their functionality, marking an end that most people fear. In philosophy, death has always been a fascinating and necessary subject to study because of its mystery and spookiness. In this video, we're going to talk about how different philosophers have viewed death. Let's dive in. First up, we have Epicurus, who had a unique take on death. He believed that death should be excluded from life because it prevents us from enjoying it. He famously said, "Death is nothing to us, for while we are, death is not. When death is, we are not." According to him, people shouldn't worry about death or fear it. Next, we have the Stoics, including Lucretius, Seneca, Cicero, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus. They viewed death as an integral part of life. Influenced by Aristotle, they believed that learning to live well also meant learning to die well. They placed great importance on accepting death, seeing it as a complement to life. For example, Seneca said, "We think death is before us, whereas most of death has already passed. Death has taken over most of our lives." Epictetus had a similar view, questioning whether death is truly an evil for humans. He said, "What is death other than the separation of body and soul? Nothing." He urged people to face death without whining, accepting it as a natural part of life. Martin Luther emphasized the individuality of death, saying, "Each of us is called to death, and no one will die in someone else's place." Spinoza argued that thinking about death is useless, and that we should focus on what we do in this world. Montaigne believed that the daily work of our lives is to prepare for death, stating, "While you are in life, you are in death." Jean-Jacques Rousseau saw death as a natural thing that should be accepted calmly. He criticized doctors, philosophers, and priests for complicating people's attitudes toward death. Ludwig Feuerbach rejected the ideas of death and immortality altogether, while Kierkegaard emphasized the certainty and instructive nature of death, saying, "If death is night, life is day." Schopenhauer believed that the structure of our minds prevents us from fully understanding death. Nietzsche, on the other hand, poetically embraced death, urging that it should not be an insult to life, but rather a continuation of our spirit and virtue. Heidegger viewed death as a fundamental aspect of human existence, defining humans as beings oriented toward death. Karl Jaspers, an existential philosopher and psychiatrist, said, "Doing philosophy is learning to die," highlighting the deep connection between philosophical thought and the acceptance of death. In addition to philosophical perspectives, let's consider how different cultures approach death. For instance, in many Eastern philosophies, death is seen as a transition rather than an end. In Hinduism and Buddhism, death is part of the cycle of rebirth and karma. This cyclical view of life and death provides a sense of continuity and purpose beyond a single lifetime, contrasting sharply with the more linear perspective often found in Western thought. In Mexico, the Day of the Dead Dia de los Muertos is a vibrant celebration that honors deceased loved ones. It's a time for families to come together, remember those who have passed, and celebrate their lives with food, music, and dance. This festive approach to death helps to demystify and destigmatize it, fostering a healthy acceptance of mortality. In modern psychology, the concept of death acceptance
Researchers have
is
found that
traction. Accepting the inevitability of death can lead to greater psychological well-being. This acceptance doesn't mean a lack of fear, but rather integrating the reality of death into one's life, making it a motivator to live more fully and authentically. So, as you can see, these philosophers and cultural perspectives offer a wide range of views on death, from accepting it as a natural part of life to seeing it as something we should not fear. Their insights can help us reflect on our own views about death and perhaps find some peace with the idea. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.